So it's just started lighting up. It says it's for fireplaces, barbecues, and campfires. It claims to be able to light even when wet. And so I'm going to be sure to test that too. Welcome back to Anything Outdoors with Steve. Today I've got my little Attack-Zo to help me test out these fire starters from Wildwood Grilling. They claim to be waterproof. I'm going to test that. They're designed to help you start fires in your fireplace, your grill, and campfires. And we'll see if they start well with different means of lighting. So I'm going to try a striker, magnesium, and just a standard match. I've got one that's been soaking overnight for 24 hours underwater. It's under a foot column of water just to put some pressure onto that little fire starter, and we'll see if it lights up. I might have to break it apart some just to get it to light, but we will see. What do you think, So? She wants a fire. All right, this is what we have in the box. So the front side is very well refined. Looks like about 18 little chunks that you can break off. One of them is cut in half here, and the back side is kind of crumbled for easy ignition. I have this one chunk that's been sitting underwater for a full day, and there's some pieces that break off, and it appears I'm just going to dump the water out right on the stump so I don't light the stump on fire. All right. There we go. Yeah, a few pieces have broke off, but that's not that big of a deal. I would say if you're backpacking with this, you'd probably want to put it in a Ziploc bag so these little pieces are still usable. And even a small piece like this will help start a fire. I'm going to save these off to the side just to see if I can get a fire going with those. I'm going to try 3 different means of ignition. One of them is going to be a striker, and this is a cheapy, generic magnesium and ferro rod striker. And if it doesn't go with that, I'll try a match. If it doesn't work, then I'll attempt to break it apart or take a knife and dig into maybe the top side here. After soaking, it has become a little more fragile. Let's see if we get any ignition here. I highly expect this not to work, just like this. So I'm gonna build a little pile of ferro rod shavings right on top if I can, so that way it's got something to catch on to. These are not designed to be lit like this. They're planning on a match ignition, but I want to test worst case scenario here. Okay, let's give it a strike. Yeah, as expected, nothing. Okay, let's give it some magnesium. See if I can actually keep these magnesium shavings where they're supposed to be. Let's get this a little closer and see if I can get some magnesium on it. Zoe right now is keeping intruders away while I start this fire for her. She's such a good attack dog. Okay, let's see if we get anything. Oops, didn't mean to strike that. Trying to just get a little shaving of ferro rod on there as well. Oh, nope. All right. Well, not so effective on the ferro, as they decided earlier in their production, I guess. Let's see if I can get any of it to burn with a match. Let's see if I can keep my match going. Oh yeah. We have ignition with the match. That went right back out. Now keep in mind, this is completely soaked for a full day. Now they claim that it can be splashed with water. So I've got to burn off that moisture that's on the surface of this right now. There's actually little spots of water all over this thing. So I imagine as it's going, it's gonna get attempted to be put out by those little dots of water everywhere. And in all reality, all I have to do is just break this apart and it'll go again. But I'm giving it the worst case scenario. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so all this stuff that broke off is completely saturated. You can see it's wet. So I'm gonna just break down into this a little bit. All this lightweight stuff is just soaked. But take a little pocket knife. Let's make a little divot here. See if we can expose some dry material a little there. All right, here we go. So this has been soaking for a full day. I just pulled it out. A lot of this loose material that was on top that's designed to help you ignite is just so saturated it almost crumbles in your hand. And I imagine the material that's contained in that wax is still going to ignite. I had to expose a little section here because there's just water kind of running off this a little bit. So I've got to try and dry off that water that's soaked within that wax and material there for it to ignite. So it's got to retain that much heat. And we've got a bit of a wind as well, but we will see if we can get this. So right now I'm trying to drag this match across and get it soaked with wax too. So this match can act like a wick to some degree. There we go. That was the key, is using the match as a wick. Now let's see if it keeps going. Typically, you don't keep your fire starters underwater for a full day. I'm going to try a dry one, see if I can get it to ignite with just a ferro rod and just magnesium if the ferro rod doesn't ignite it. And this stuff is so wet, I don't know if it'll go or not. I think it will, yeah. Not bad. Ooh, I'm burning myself. So you can make a nice little tinder bundle just like this. Piling up some. It's even got large flakes. Now this is probably the stuff that's getting soaked because there's not enough wax embedded within it. Let's see if I can hold it in the flame without getting burnt. Does Zoe approve? Do you approve of that? I know. It's nice and warm, isn't it? Oh, yeah, let's not get you in the smoke though. Zoe approved fire. So at this point, if you have any tinder at all, it'll go ahead and start your fire for you. And I believe this one puck will run a flame for at least half an hour. I used it to start up my barbecue grill the other day, and my gosh, it worked phenomenal with that little can that you put the briquettes in. It got that briquette going a lot faster. put that back out. Got that briquette system going a lot faster than using lighter fluid even. So this, as a barbecue starter, is phenomenal. I think it's actually cheaper than lighter fluid when you break it down per ignition, and I can even cut these pucks in half and it's still sufficient to start that briquette. And I'm having trouble blowing it out. So once it gets going, it's actually a lot harder to put out. I think Zoe approves. What do you think? You approve? Yeah, I'm pretty sure she approves. All right, let's snuff this out. Let's get a dry one and see if I can ignite it with just a ferro rod. And again, this is not its intended use, but I want to see if it will. I like using some of these products against their intent, and just to see if it will work in a scenario where you might need it to. Like I say, this is not designed to soak in water for 24 hours. So I just wanted to see if it would and still ignite. So if you spend a little time with this, it definitely will. I don't think you'll get it going with a ferro rod wet. At least you know you can dig into the material and loosen it up enough to get it going with a match. The lighter, Bic lighter, will get it going no matter what, I'm sure. I had enough wind here that I'm struggling trying to keep the match lit. That was one of the difficulties here. Oh, this is still going. I know. Is that crazy? That's stinky, huh? Yeah. So Zoe's going to help me light up this next one with a ferro rod, and we'll see if we can get her going. I'm actually just going to take a piece off like this, put it right there. So I'm going to see if I can pile some magnesium on this. Now, if I was relying on this for a survival situation, I would use a substantial amount of magnesium. For testing, I'm going to go a little cheap. What do you think, Zoe? Is that going to work? All right, you ready? You ready for this, Zoe? Let's see if it works. Let's get a little shavings on there. There we go. We got fire. And it went right back out. It is a little windy. Oh, she's still sparking and farting right a little bit there. And it's out. Yeah, it's a nice little pile. Oops. Need to actually roll this to keep the flame going. There we go. So it will work with a, now ferro rod alone, probably not, unless you make a nice big pile of ferrocerium shavings on there. But with the magnesium, that's almost a guaranteed ignition there. Of course, you probably can't see it with the bright light. Let's see, there you go. And I'm just gonna let that burn with Zoe here watching. What do you think? Yeah, this guy's stinky, huh? There we go. It's the beauty of punky wood. It's real easy to get it going. So I think even this wet stuff will take a flame now. Ooh, that's smelling pretty good now. I'm not sure what kind of wood they use with this, but it smells good. Even Zoe likes it. What do you think? It smells good? Even this wet stuff's going pretty good. Even outside its intended use, you've got a pretty good fire starter. And you could use one puck to start multiple fires just by breaking some chunks off. You don't need to use the whole thing unless your material is extremely wet. Because like I say, this one puck this'll be my next grill starter. So I'm gonna cut it in half and use it to start up my barbecue grill. And little Zoe, I think, even agrees. What does that smell like? A little beeswax? That's none of your beeswax. That's not your beeswax. That's a hot dog. You a hot dog? Thank you for joining us on testing out the Wildwood grilling fire starters. I wanted to see if they would work still, even if you soak them, because if I'm going to bring it for camping, and of course I'm going to put it in a Ziploc bag if I do, because there is enough loose material, and that's by design so you can ignite it easily. But there's enough loose material that it'll probably break apart in my pack just with hiking around. As you can see here, this thing's been going for quite a while now, and it's still going pretty strong. That's more than enough to get some tinder bundles going, or even some branches, sticks, whatever you have laying around. You should be able to just pile up a little pile and get a good campfire going. When it's cold outside and snowy, that is very helpful to get that stuff going. Let's not get Zoe a haircut. Well, Zoe says bye. Thank you for joining. And we're going to watch this fire burn out for a while. Alright, there's one last thing I wanted to test with these. This is the puck that I soaked. It's had some time to dry out, which maybe a few hours to dry out. I'm going to test two different things. One, to see if half a puck is enough to get this briquette burner going. And this is going to be just slightly less than half. And two, to see if I can get it going with one of these little arc lighters. I have no idea if this will actually get it going hot enough, but we'll give it a shot there. Oh yeah, look at that. Not a problem. So if you carry one of these arc lighters, which is kind of nice to carry with you because you don't have to worry as much if it gets wet because this is a waterproof housing, and you can hear the water, little bits of water in there still sizzling. But yeah, so wind won't affect it. So doesn't matter if it's windy, it'll still go. I'm actually going to take these little bits and pieces. So I still have half a puck left to ignite another set of briquettes. And I'm only using this board as a holder. Otherwise, right now, it'll just fall right through the wires of the grill here. I've done this before with some shavings, as you can tell. That's the burn marks. I'd take some wood shavings and pile them onto these boards. There we go. We will see if that works. That's pretty cool. It lit right up with this. I really wanted to test to see if that would work. Because even little bits of kindling, it should just light right up. There we go. I always have this in my backpack when I'm camping, hiking, whatever I'm doing. It's always in there because it doesn't weigh anything. You don't have to worry about fuel. The only thing you do have to worry about is charging that battery. And I haven't charged this for over a year. It still seems fine. It still has the blue light saying full charge. So that's pretty cool. All right, let's drop this camera down. Now you can see the fire burning underneath, and the briquette's starting to warm up. A piece of aluminum foil over the grill would work also to hold it together. So I'm going to just keep this piece right here, ready for the next time I grill. I wanted to see if half the chunk would be enough to fire off the briquettes. Oh no, I'm almost out of memory card. I've got a minute left of video. So I'm going to turn this off and fire it back up in 10 minutes. All right, I've got a minute left on the memory card, and this is 5 minutes in, and Zoe's helping us start this fire too. She's really excited for the barbecue. She says she wants some pork loins. And actually now the board is catching on fire. The wax that's melting out from that puck is actually spreading onto the board, and so the board is burning. That puck is not even partially burnt. We've got the briquettes are starting to glow up to this level, the very bottom section. It's smoking really good. I'm going to turn this back off and come back out in another 5 minutes. It's 7:15 now. All right, we're at 10 minutes, and Zoe says we're cheating. The board is now fully lit on fire, and the wax is actually spread across pretty well, igniting the board. And the puck is still substantially there. We've got flames starting to come out the top, and I'm going to see if I can put the board out and just have the rest of it go by itself. There we go. Got flames out the top. I put the board out. Almost. And there's still a little bit of that puck left. It's perfect. It's raining out today. I'm going to put the other half of that waterlogged puck out in the rain. It's had some time to dry off, but it's just going to sit out here for a few hours while it's raining. I'm going to try the arc lighter on this thing after it's been soaking for a while in the rain, and we'll see what happens. All right, the rain has slowed down significantly. It's been out here for 3 hours. Let's see if it'll light just where it sits. Hopefully I won't zap myself. There we go. Got fire. So it did take a little bit. We do have a sustained flame, and at this point it'll just keep going. All right, at this point it is definitely done. I blew it out and I'll use the rest for the barbecue. So even in the rain, it will start. It is a little more challenging. This electric lighter is definitely the way to go. I like it a lot. Thanks for joining us.